What's going on, guys? I think we're live. I'm just trying to referee a cell phone debate over here and get everybody calmed down before we go live. We got a serious Android versus Apple discussion going on. I'm trying to ring the bell. Ding, ding, ding. Like, everybody calm down. We're going live, but here we are.
In chat, Android 1, Apple 2. In chat. That's what we want, okay?
Oh, Blue's going to start banning people that say Apple. So I think it's best we move on.
I freaking dare you. I dare you.
I think it's best we probably move on.
Yeah, just put a 1 in chat if you're an Android user, put a 2 in chat if you're the shit and you use Apple. Go ahead.
Yeah, put a 2 in chat if you're completely locked out of your phone like a little kid and can't do anything on it. And
Hey, that happened to me once, goddammit. Shut up.
Oh. But yeah,
Monday.
So our viewers are incredibly intelligent. I love you guys. And they're also really good at math. So as you guys can count on the screen, there's an extra person here today. I'm joined by my normal co-hosts, Buff and Blue, but we also have a special guest who has had hands-on experience with Gray Zone Warfare, another awesome content creator, RedBeardMortis. What's up, man?
Yo, what's good, guys? Or hold on, let me introduce myself properly. Hey, howdy, hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Scope podcast.
There he is. So he's also trying to show us up with his voice quality, and that's, whatever. That's fine. I never claimed to be good at this, so whatever. But yeah, man, glad to have you again. Repeat guest. Had him on. Dude, I'm so old. I can't remember when the last time we had you on, but it wasn't that long ago. So you're back. We're going to talk about Gray Zone, and we got a big show today. There's a few things on the screen you guys can see. We're going to talk about Gray Zone Warfare. A lot happened, of course, as it does, with proper scope timing. Right after last week's episode, like the very next day, everything went on. So Gray Zone came out with some gameplay. Several creators, including Redbeard, got to play it. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And then Battlefield Season 7, I'm going to try really hard not to be an asshole, but it's probably not going to work when we talk about Battlefield Season 7. And then Blue's going to fill us in on the absolute train wreck of the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection launches. A lot of stuff on X. There's a lot of quick shots. There's some wild stuff. Rainbow Six Siege is back on top, baby. There's cheaters hacking Apex tournaments, and just we have a lot to talk about. It's going to be a damn fun Monday. So yeah, let's. I want to talk a little bit about Redbeard really quick. What would you give your elevator pitch on your channel, Redbeard?
So I am I'm a content creator. So that means I'm broke. No,
He's unemployed.
I'm broke, unemployed, and uninspired. Just looking at my channel, as you guys can see up on the screen, I cover a plethora of things. I'm trying to niche down into like Gray Zone Warfare, the finals, X Defiant, when and if it comes out. But I just mainly like to talk about what's going on in gaming, kind of something similar to something you would see in like Big Fry TV's videos, Crash Games. Not so much BlueTheRobot anymore. He's more so like a cinematic YouTuber, and I love watching his videos while I eat. Just incredible.
Blue actually has artistic talent.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's very artistic, something that I am not. But no, I just cover games that I love to play. I used to be one of those guys who would shit on every early access project that would come out. But since then, I've taken a different approach, and I'm just covering shit that I like, and culminating a very small but pretty loyal following of people.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Having that close community. I like that a lot. Having a small community and stuff. It's feel like lately I've noticed like I've had a few Gray Zone Warfare videos do really well, and it's like the more views they get, like the shittier the comments get. So I almost just like it when like my core little group watches it, because everybody's nice and chill, and then when it goes out, like you start to get...
There's a comment I gotta read off to you guys at some point in the show. I had accusations thrown at me that I was being paid to talk about Gray Zone Warfare.
I've seen a few of those pop around.
There's some
other
wild
creators,
comments,
man.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
The Gray Zone Warfare comments are actually insane, like with what people are saying. Yeah,
I've seen very divisive stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. We got it. We'll get into that for sure. But yeah, Redbeard has an awesome YouTube channel. It is up on the screen. It is also in the show notes if you're listening to the audio version later on. and it's also in the description of this video if you're watching that. So if you want a link to his channel and a link to his Twitter, or his ex, formerly known as Twitter, sorry Elon, it's down there. Just really quickly, thank you so much, guys, for the super chat. It's about damn time waiting all day in the tractor trailer for this pod. Awesome, man. Thank you for the $9.99, and Wumeister with the $4.99 saying welcome in, Redbeard. Thank you guys so much. It's awesome. And Blue with the membership for 15 months, my man. Just
thank you guys so much
long.
for keeping it hype in this bitch. I appreciate y'all so much.
Just
I'm ready to
membering
get
out.
this started, man. I haven't been on the show since episode 67, I believe.
Oh,
is
we
when
should
I
have
was
waited
on
2
the show.
more.
Wow, that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you
Yeah,
could have
it
always
should've.
been 69. You didn't forever. Dang it. We were close.
I know. But yeah, I also, if you guys didn't know, I join Crash regularly on his American Truck Simulator streams on Twitch. I am the I'm the Shid Pants COO/POO. So yeah, we do a lot of shidding and pantsing over
Dude,
there.
yeah. You guys haven't seen the trucking streams on Twitch. They're so good. And that is the
He
name
gets
of our
drunk,
company.
I get high, and we have a great damn time.
That is the name of my company, is Shid Pants LLC. And I updated. So we'll talk about it a little later. There's tons of stuff on Steam sale right now, including American Truck Simulator, but we're going to go through some of the Steam FPS sales too. Spring, summer sales going on. But I got a bunch of new content and stuff in American Truck Simulator. And now I have a license plate that sits on my dash looking out the windshield that says Shid Pants. So that's the last thing these idiots see when I run them over, dude. Shid Pants coming at you.
That's
And
awesome.
Chrome.
That's so cool.
It's awesome. That game is so sick.
It's amazing. It's game of the year every year.
It is. No one's gonna beat it. It's the best game.
No.
Every single time I play that game and stream it, my cheeks hurt from smiling and laughing so much, man. It's so fun, dude. It's so damn
How
fun.
it should be.
So yeah, man. Gray Zone Warfare. I did see, before we get into it, I did see my buddy Buff maybe coming around Gray Zone Warfare after some of this stuff. Did he? Is he? Are we turning you?
I mean, I didn't hate the original footage that they released. That was just the raw stuff. But I think, I watched your stream watching the footage, Redbeard's footage the other day, and it definitely changed my mind. And I watched some other creators' footage, and it just showed how you would play it with a group of friends, which I think I like how they did it with the raw footage, but I didn't really know what the game would be like based on how it was. They're moving very slow, methodical, which is good, but you're missing the comms and kind of how you would play with your buddy. So I think that's what I got from the creator videos here, Redbeard's included. So yeah, I think it looks a lot better. My impressions definitely went from mixed to this looks really fun after watching a lot of the creator footage that came out. So
yeah, it keeps
That's good, man.
It
Yeah,
keeps getting a little better.
Warming up to it.
Yeah, it keeps getting a little better each time from the stuff we hear, and then even then, like some of the stuff since then has been clarified from Mara about, because people were complaining about loot. Well, there is actually, he tweeted out today that there's a ton of different kinds of things to loot, and yeah. So I guess Redbeard, what's one of the things that surprised you the most when you got hands on with Gray Zone?
Outside of being able to actually play the game after having all of the issues that I had, I think ultimately just being in that environment, how seamless it was. I think that's what impressed me the most, because the environment truly is seamless. Like I don't know, like I know whenever they were saying like, oh yeah, like there's not going to be any loading screens. You're just going to go from the base camp to the LZ, and then you go on your mission, go to an LZ, and then go back to the base, and you're thinking, yeah, that's kind of cool. Literally, it is seamless from beginning to end. So I mean, like, you can walk out the front gates of your base and just walk up the road a little bit and engage in enemies if you want to, then just walk right back. Or you can call in a helicopter to drop you off in an LZ, and you can just explore that area. I mean, there's like, it is a weird ass thing to talk about, right? Because it kind of almost gives Division 2 vibes a little bit. Where it kind of it's not as I mean, because like Division 2 does have its like, if I remember it correctly, it
The
has its
main
like loading
hub.
screens and yeah.
Yeah.
So it has a main hub kind of similar to what you would see in a game like a Division 2.
Then once you walk out the gate, you're in the zone. You're in the combat area.
Yeah, as soon as you walk out the front gates, yeah, it's like yeah, you can pepper if you somehow manage to spot somebody from the front gates of your base, you can pepper them at the
Now, could
front
they
gates.
pepper you
Wow.
back? Can they come into your base? That's what I wonder as well too. Was that a question asked as well?
That I don't think they can actually come to your base, but I'm sure if something happened and I don't know, some stupid shit happened where like an AI spawned right in front of you, I'm sure they would run up in your base and try to gun you down. Those AI, as spongy as they were some of the most hostile AI that I had ever encountered in a
It
game.
looked like
I mean,
it,
they were
yeah.
fucking hostile.
And I know.
And like, no, go ahead, Crash.
Oh no, I didn't mean to interrupt. They
No, you're good.
Mara also said there's several tiers, and the only ones that you guys saw were the super lowest tier. And then
Yeah.
they've already made tweaks to make it
That's
better.
crazy.
Yeah.
Those AI,
Yeah.
bro, I'm telling you, those AI were very brutal and they talked shit, like actually talk shit to you while you were like in
I
the
heard
area.
that.
So one of the things that I one of the things I remember hearing is whenever me and Fry and Flo were walking through this little area, we heard this one guy say, "Oh, show yourself, you American bitch." And I just turned to my left. I turned to my left, bro, and he is standing right there in the middle of the street with a fucking AK in his hands, like ready to pepper me. And I'm
That's
like, "Yep,
funny.
this is the gray zone experience, man."
That's funny.
Interesting.
Yeah, I could hear him talking shit in some of the videos and stuff. That was pretty funny. Yeah, that is something that I don't think that caught me off guard. I knew it was a thing. I knew the persistent servers was a thing. But like when that helicopter took off and it's just so smooth and you rise up and
Yeah.
you see the whole expansive map and then you drop down and it's like that whole time shit's going on out in the world. Like the world's moving on, even if you're back at the extract. And then I heard that you can shoot from the helicopters. You can probably get shot from the helicopters. I saw in Jack Fragg's video, he threw a grenade from it and it kind of got caught in the prop wash. It was pretty funny. You can actually, and like you said, if you can walk, if you want to, you can walk your ass all the way back to the base if you want and not risk the helicopter and stuff. So it's crazy. And then I don't think he was supposed to, from what I've heard from Rick, but when Jack Frag zoomed out and showed the whole entire map, holy shit, is it massive, dude?
Yeah,
It's
and that
so-
was just the area that we were allowed to explore. I want to make that very, very clear. That was the area that we were allowed to navigate through. That's not the entire, I don't believe that's the entire map. Now, I didn't watch Jack Frag's video all the way through, but you can kind of see, at least in my video, there's a moment where like the little miniature map HUD comes up on the right side and you can see this large ass area of land. That's not the entire map. Because when I looked at the map, I was thinking, damn, this shit's kind of big, but I thought it was gonna be bigger. And then I zoomed out and it like you couldn't even see where the fuck you were on this map once you zoomed out.
Yeah, so I'm gonna show it.
On
I'm gonna show it because it's out in the world. Jack Frags, like everybody saw it. So he zoomed out and you can see the area in the middle. And like, so we, in the 23 minutes of raw gameplay and all the creator stuff have been this rat's nest mission. And it's been, you can see on the screen, sorry, podcast listeners, we love you. The green triangle is where they're at. That's the village where everything we've seen has been in this tiny little area to the south between the green triangle and the bottom LZ. And then Jack Frag zoomed out and it's like, holy shit, dude. That's like a fifth of the map, dude.
Yeah.
That's been a fifth of the map. So it's absolutely massive. Like taking choppers across that thing is so sick.
That's going to be cool.
And another thing to really keep in mind here to like just so one thing and like you got the feeling almost nailed down packed, right? Whenever you leave the LZ for the first time, like or you leave your base for the first time going to the LZ, bro, just how seamless all that shit is. And like you're up in the air, you know, a few hundred feet, and you were just traversing over this massive ass land, and you realize at that moment in time that these guys are not fucking around. Like you can just tell by the time you leave for the first time out of the base that the devs are serious about this game.
Yeah.
And it's and you know, and John in the chat makes a very good point. He says, but it's still too empty. It looks like it's empty, but it's not. Everything that you see in the game is meshed together like just flawlessly.
Yeah.
It's seamless. It is fucking seamless. What experiences out there can you say are seamless? There's not a lot of them. There's really not a lot.
Yeah, and
Starting from when you drop in to when you're done playing, how many games can you say are seamless from beginning to end?
Yeah, it doesn't really happen very often, especially multiplayer. So what else?
And
What
they try and
also?
Star Citizen, but we all know how that works out.
But that is something I
comment.
did notice. I'm with John. Like, if you look at this map, you're like, there is not much going on here. Like, I'm agree with John. But then when the chopper took off, I was like, there's a lot more buildings and stuff than is on this mini map.
There's a lot of like
That-
point of interest
that they-
that
yeah,
you
there's a
can
lot
go and
more
explore yourself.
POIs.
Yeah.
And they did say that they're going to be adding more, and they said that they want there to be like a place to loot. So if you get killed and you respawn and you're out there on your ass with nothing, they want there to be places you can pick stuff up like every several hundred meters, like buildings and houses and stuff to loot. So I'm sure they're going to keep adding to the map. The other thing that I thought is sick is day-night cycles are going to be one of the first updates, they said. So that was pretty awesome. To think about how thermals and nods and stuff are going to be in the jungle at night is like going to be nuts, dude.
It's going to be insane.
And in early access, we're not even going to get to see the middle area where the incident happened. That doesn't get unlocked until like way later on. So
Yeah, ground zero. Yeah.
Does I just had one question. I don't know if you're able to say anything. I know I haven't heard anything from Rick about it, but like it seems like the map there should be more going on. There is going to be more going on the map as far as it's not just hostiles, right? I want people to get the impression that you fly in and every place you encounter, it's only going to be hostiles. It seems like I'm thinking at least their goal is to kind of have it like a Ghost Recon Wildlands type environment where there's all, like you even kind of said, there's always something going on. Like, is there just civilians living regular life in places on the map? I don't know if we've heard that, or I don't know if you saw it either.
So I didn't see any sort of passive AI in the environment. The only people I seen in the environment is going to be whoever I'm playing with and the enemy AI, the combatants at least. As far as like what you're speculating as far as like Ghost Recon Wildlands, that is something that I was told. All right, I believe all of us were told this, but I remember specifically being told to me that the game is going to play out very similarly in terms of like environment events, right? So you're out doing a patrol mission or whatever, and you see like a big ass convoy of combatants just walking down the road. And maybe at base camp or something, you got told like, hey, there's going to be this patrol moving through. They have, high tier loot or, whatever we may need. You can choose to go after them or you can just leave them alone. Then I do also want to say, because I have a feeling one of y'all were going to ask me what the PvP aspect is going to look like.
Wasn't there, right?
So they got to test PvP while I was still having the issues that I had, right? So this was like the buffer period in between like me not being able to play and then playing on a low and zero build of Gray Zone Warfare. And then I also want to touch on that a little bit as well, because I feel like it's very important to the conversation that I had in my video, which leading up to me doing that video, I had told Rick that I was very, very nervous about talking about the issues I had, because if I said something wrong, it would paint the game in a horrible light. But the only thing I know how to do in a situation like this is just tell the truth and make the best out of it. And that's exactly what they did. I didn't sit here and try to spin a narrative that, like the game is great because these guys are great. They took it upon themselves to do great things, so I had something to talk about. But getting back on topic with the PvP thing, these guys, so it was like Tacti, Clean, Drewski, Tom, and then I think one more guy. They ran around the woods for like 5 hours just killing each other with knives. Now they recorded it but Rick and Merrick had asked them not to include that in any videos because it needed a lot of work from what I was told. And Rick was the first one to admit that. He's like, yeah, the PvP is one of those things that we need to do a lot of more work on. But they apparently they had fun just running around killing each other with fucking shivs for 4 or 5 hours straight.
I mean, count me in.
I mean, that also brings up the whole like delay as well, right?
Yeah, so in an official capacity, I don't think they've made the announcement that they're
We
pushing
saw
the game back.
the tweet, yeah.
Yeah, so the
Mara
tweet
said.
came out and then they changed it on Steam from Q1 of 2024 to just 2024. And that was something that, you know, Rick had approached all of us towards the end of the playtest and was like, hey, what is one thing that we need to do that you believe would make this game better? And almost every single one of us said, you need to push the game back. You are not going to be able to release this by the end of Q1 and expect people to pay money for it. You're just not going to. And as tough as a conversation as that was to have, they were all like, they all agreed. They're like, yeah, we did a lot of this testing and, you know, internally we didn't have a whole lot of issues. So this play test was just kind of gauge like where we're at. We have a lot more we have a lot more road to traverse over. Like we still got to do a lot of work. So they're making the decision to just kind of, you know, push it back a little bit, give it some time in the oven still. And I think that's what's going to benefit this game greatly is that they're just going to keep pushing it. Or I shouldn't say they're going to keep pushing it back, but they're going to keep doing things in light of, you know, we may make 5 people mad, but if 5,000 are happy, then we'll take it. You know?
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit last week too, and we had this exact conversation. And it was last week or a few weeks before they even did the original pushback. It felt like they kind of hit lightning in a bottle, and probably nobody was expecting this game to gain the traction that it did. And then they realized like, oh, we have a winner here. You know, we have something special if we take care of it right. So that makes me happy. They push it back however long it takes, because I think what we saw with the creator gameplay, with your gameplay and others, is just like this game definitely has, you know, really good potential. And like I think you even said it in your videos, like comparing it to Tarkov, it is something people are naturally going to do, but it's so different, and it looks like its own experience is its own experience. And to have it be a fleshed out game with a good amount of I guess what's good amount of polish to it by the time it's released is going to help them. Like you said, if they released it too soon, just a negative backlash, like you look at like World War III as an example. Granted, that was mainly server issues, but something that has potential and just fails won't recover these days. So for them to release it too soon could be detrimental to the, you know, what the possibility that this game can be. So it's really good that they're pushing it back.
100%, yeah.
As well too. What current specs do you have in your PC, and how did the game run? How do you feel like it ran during this playtest as well too? Because I know a lot of people are expecting Unreal Engine 5, and you're gonna need a 40 series graphics card and high end stuff, you know, just to even run this game. So, what's your experience with that?
What I was told after the playtest was like optimization has been moved up to priority number 1 and tied with the AI. So with that being said, I have a 3900X 12 core that's overclocked on a I think a B540 Asus motherboard. I got, you know, 32 gigs of 3400 megahertz RAM. I got a 6800 XT OC edition.
Oh, you got an AMD graphics card. I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm strictly AMD. And
what is that
this
equivalent to?
playtest,
I'm just curious.
So the 6800 XT overclocked version, what I have is equivalent to like a 3080, 3090. Kind of, sort of. Other models of like the 6800 and the 6800 XT, I would say more so towards like a you know what, I'll just put it all in the same area, right? It's anywhere between like a 3070 and a 3090, more so a 3080. But regardless, The only people that were having significant amount of issues were people who were running solely AMD. And that was just
Interesting.
that was something
Okay.
that they didn't prepare for it because everyone in their internal testing
Runs
didn't have
NVIDIA
AMD components. They all ran NVIDIA graphics cards. Some of
and
them had
Intel
AMD
CPUs probably.
CPUs.
Yeah.
A couple of them had AMD CPUs and they didn't really have that much issue, but pretty much everyone that was involved with the internal QA testing was running solely NVIDIA and Intel. Um, so with a bunch of people, or I shouldn't say a bunch, there was like, like I said, about, 4 of us total. I was the first one to experience issues on the AMD side, and I was the only one to have had a UE5 Vulcan error. Everyone else, everyone else was either having severely low frames, the game would hang, or it would just freeze, right? But it wouldn't necessarily crash like mine did. Um, so my first experience was, well, shit. this is
Might not even
this
get to
is
play today, kind of thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I said in my video, and I'm saying this because I know you guys have seen it. I don't think most of the chat has, so I just want to make it very clear, also for our audio listeners as well. Hello there.
Hey.
I want to, I want to make a very special point to say, like, whenever, so in the video, I was talking about how the people who had AMD internals had a significant amount of issues, but I just want to say that everybody across the board, everybody in general had issues with frame stability. So,
Yeah, you could tell.
it wasn't just like AMD solely had the issues. It
Yeah.
was like NVIDIA, people who had 4090s were having issues with
Wow.
frame instability.
Wow.
So, like, that was something that they had warned us about. But whenever you get warned about something, you're like, oh, that shit sucks, but it's not gonna happen to me. Um,
Hopefully,
However,
yeah.
it happened to everybody. So while I was trying to figure out the issues that I had, and no, in my video, I said that we did about 7 to 8 hours of diagnosing my issue. While they were still running the play test, while my group was running in the play test, I had people messaging me, hopping into the call, being like, "Yo, bro, like, what's going on here? Like, what's this? What's that?" Like, we were like seriously QA testing this game live during a play test. And then, not even 24 hours later, I get sent a version of the game. They pushed out a Steam, or they pushed out a patch on Steam, and I was able to play in low and O, or low and zero, meaning that all of my graphics were set to low and I had no shadows. I had very low texture pools. I had, fuck me, man, it looked like you ran like a halftone generator on my game because everything was like dots and shit. Like, but I could play it. At that point, I could play it. And I was like, yo, if this is what gets me into this game, I'm okay with that because we can always go back later and figure out the real issue. I
This
was like,
early
okay, cool.
on in the stage, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Nah,
exactly. I was just happy that the game fucking worked. Okay. that was really what I was happy about. Everyone was happy about it. Then I got sent the stability INI file, which is something that I had asked for at the recommendation of Flo and Frost. They were both like, hey, what's the worst that could happen? Just tell them you'll sign, however many fucking NDAs as possible, and we'll just look at this shit. I was like, okay, cool. So they sent me the INI file. I didn't have to sign an NDA. They're like, here, have it. I'm like, cool, awesome. So I look at the INI file and I'm like, all right, cool. And they were already kind of speculating where they may have found a fix, but they just wanted me to look at the INI file first and just, kind of experiment with it. So with the build that I had gotten after the patch was out, the game ran, but every time I would try to adjust something in the INI file, it would crash the game. So I was like, okay, awesome. And then that's when they had told me, hey, it'll be about 2 weeks before we could maybe do another one of these just for you to come in and see how the game performs. And I'm
interesting.
like,
Okay.
okay, because they were like the tech team. So the tech team and a few of the other, like, I'm assuming a few of the other QA guys and devs, they had essentially stayed in the office for like 2 or 3 days straight while working on this issue. Because really, honestly, they did that for the guys who were running AMD who were having the issues, but they needed to address the frame instability issue across the board. So they were like, fuck it, since we're already here, we're just going to diagnose everything at one time.
Yeah.
But they were telling me like, hey, we're gonna order in your computer parts per spec, like spec for spec. We're gonna get your computer in house. We're gonna get everyone else who's AMD's computer in house, and we're just gonna experiment and see what's going on. And then, like, again, I was prepared to wait 2 weeks. I was like, all right, cool. I guess I'm not playing the game. I won't have a video, and I'll just move on with it. I was getting some backup footage just in case, which I still kind of had to use that. But what you seen in my video is pretty much how my game looked exactly. After, like, so I went from not being able to play the game at all to having low texture pulls to a beautiful fucking game in 72 hours. Like,
Yeah, because they diagnosed it and got a build working for you within like 72 hours.
Yep, that's it.
They stayed like
and
late
they
at the
were even
office and
talking
stuff.
about extending the playtest even farther, because it was only supposed to be for the weekend, and then they had opened it up for Monday, the following Monday, and they were talking about even extending it, pretty much into the middle of the week or even later into the week. And I was like, that's going to cost way too much money. Like, I am not that fucking important to have you guys do this. But people were hopping in and basically just playing all day, all weekend
They were
long.
excited to help you out and excited to actually find out some fixes.
Exactly. That was it.
Which shows their dedication
And their
already off the
competence
bat as well too.
and their competence
Yeah.
too to track
The fact
that
that they
down.
got you to beautiful graphics in about 72 hours.
Exactly. And like, honestly, I wish I could show you guys what my game looked like on low and zero. But I can't.
You should have done it just like a before and after.
No, it was just one of those things that I had asked Rick about, and he was like, "No, please don't." He's like, "I'm not gonna stop you, but just please don't." And I'm like, you know what? Fair enough. Like,
The game, but the game looks sick, and it just blows my mind that you go up in this helicopter and there's no assets like popping in and out. Like, it's there.
No.
Like, everything is there. Like, there's no trees and vegetation. It's just like, it's, even if the frames are low, like, it's stunning. Like, it looks so good. It's like Crisis in 2024.
It doesn't seem, even through watching your video, like, once that, I guess now knowing like the behind the scenes more of how you got to this point, it doesn't even seem like it's running that bad.
No, it wasn't running that bad once they got everything kind of fixed. Now, beggars can't be choosers. So like, my frames were not the best at all. And in my video, I did a little bit of upscaling through DaVinci, just to make it look as good as possible for the front facing part of it. But Rick, I just want to, like, sidebar here for a second. I want to give Rick his flowers. I want to commend this fucking guy, and I want to commend everyone who works with him at Madfinger, because if it wasn't for this guy right here and everyone who spent days, like literal days in the office diagnosing this issue, I can easily tell you right now that the perception of this game, or even just the content flow in general, would be severely different. And I even said this shit in my video. If it were Activision, Ubisoft, any other company out there who I had issues with, like, I had the same game issues that I had with Gray Zone Warfare, they would not fucking care one bit.
No.
I would not hear a single thing from them. I wouldn't get a DM. I wouldn't be in Discord calls. I wouldn't be in VCs. I wouldn't be doing anything regarding the game. They would be like, hey, sorry about that. We'll probably send you a free copy. Maybe not, because we'll forget about you in 5 seconds. But
you'd be under
this
NDA
guy,
and you probably couldn't talk about anything about it.
Oh, 100%. I would still be under NDA for something I didn't even fucking play. So I know Rick is in the chat. Rick, I appreciate you, bro. You're fucking incredible. Your entire team is amazing. I appreciate all of the hard work that you guys do. And in my video, I said, no matter if you're on the fence about whether you should support Gray Zone Warfare, whether you don't like the project, you know, whatever the case may be, you have to show respect for what they did. You have to. It would be criminal not to at that point. So Rick, thank you so much for everything that you did throughout the playtest. You earned a lot of brownie points with a lot of damn people for that. So thank you.
Yeah, you can tell that they give a shit, and you can tell that they're working on it. The other thing that I pointed out in a tweet today or yesterday was the fact that they published all the creators videos onto Steam, onto the store Steam page, and there are several videos with some straight up harsh criticism in there, and they still published them. It's so refreshing. And Mara even addressed it, that said, hey, we know most of it's already fixed, but we know where we got to do what we got to do. And it's true. And he said most of it's valid. And that's just so refreshing, because you always see these pathetic attempts to hide criticism, but it's the internet, right? Like, always gets out. And that was always so frustrating with me in the Battlefield community. Like, anytime you said anything remotely, even if it was incredibly respectful, but criticized what they did, they would pretty much shun you and put you on a blacklist. And so many studios have that shallow level of thinking to where that they can silence people and they can scrub the internet of any of that. To see Madfinger Games just say, yeah, they call a spade. This is what it is. We know where it's at, and we know what we got to do, was like, I don't know, man. Like, that just got like so many brownie points with me.
Especially in today's development.
Yeah, because I was always raised with like accountability. Like, you know what? If you mess up, it's always huge to me to say, hey, I messed up, but I'm not going to do it again, and I'm going to do better. You either do it right or you learn. It's only, to me, it's only bad if you screw up twice, right? Like, because you do it once and you learn from it. So just to see like that level of accountability from an indie dev studio gives me a lot of hope and a lot of respect for them. It seems like a little thing, like Crash, they just published videos to a Steam page, but to me, it's like, it's pretty cool to see that they're just honest with where it is and where it's at. And then one question I did have, so you were on servers, were those locally hosted, or were you on servers across the drink?
So they had 3 US servers and 3 EU servers.
Okay, so
those servers,
All right. That's a good sign.
The tick rate on the servers was a bit fucky. Everyone would be the first one to admit that. And it caused you know what, I'm just gonna say it. Since I appreciate Rick so much, it caused it caused a lot of people to be like, yo, this AI is fucked up. Like, the AI is cracked, and that is one thing that they heard constantly throughout the playtest. And every single time they're like, yeah, we're fixing that like as soon as possible. And from what I was told by Devil Dog, in like the newest build that they're working on, the AI are like very susceptible to that ballistic system that was shown a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't even think we got a real look at what the AI does, because I think there was deeper netcode issues. This is completely, again, guys, welcome to the latest Crash talking out of his ass moment of the Scope podcast. They happen all the time. But just from my armchair dev experience, which I have none, that it looked like a lot of the bullets weren't counting at all, and things were pretty desynced. So yeah, I think
that's what kind of came with the bullet sponginess of this AI, when in reality some of them weren't counting. Yeah,
and people are like, man, the AI sucks, the audio sucks.
Some of them were saying, the audio was like, it sounded like someone had muffled gunshots in the playtest. Another one was like, oh, the AI super basic, you know. But then you come in here and basically say opposite. I did, in my opinion, from listening to also the gunshots, I mean, they didn't seem super loud, but you got to think gameplay wise. Do you want realistic gunshot sounds if you're not wearing ear pro, you're gonna have tinnitus the entire time? Or, you know, it's
people want to bitch about anything nowadays, and it's
exactly
it's annoying as fuck. Like, you can't just let these guys like you can't just like commend these guys on what they have and then give like very stern criticisms for shit you don't like. You just
Very
got to
little
dismiss
things,
the
yeah.
entire thing, you know, like just dismiss it because it's easier than actually, you know, putting thought into what you want to say.
But
Just
what
dismiss
I'm
the whole fucking thing.
but what I'm saying is like, so I mean, you hear audio, you hear netcode, you hear AI, like you hear all these things, and it's like, dude, those are exactly what you would expect in a true pre-alpha. And
Yeah.
and I would
Yeah,
say
this is the proper term of a playtest.
and I would say that
you
there's
know.
even games in 1.0 and beyond that still struggle with these things quite a bit. So it's like, I mean, would you not expect a pre-alpha test to have those issues? Those are some of the last touches that a game gets. And you tell me
Yeah.
that a pre-alpha game looks this good? I'm in, man. Like at a pre-alpha state,
Exactly.
it looks like this.
I'm not seeing polygon shapes and orange boxes everywhere, and
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, been
it
part of a
seems
lot of
pretty
alpha.
decent. Yeah.
Especially with the AI, though. I mean, you know, I know people were giving it a lot of a lot of backlash, but it's just like real world stuff. Like I mean, you look at if anyone's read. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have seen the movie Black Hawk Down, but if you read the book Black Hawk Down, and this happens at a lot of conflict zones. You know, in that operation in Mogadishu, the Somalis were taking a drug called KHAT. It's pronounced like quad.
Yeah.
KHAT, which is a it's a drug that essentially it's like a methamphetamine, gives you a lot of this energy and you don't feel pain. So you know, you see a lot of
So
combat
adrenaline's
zones.
coursing.
Yeah, you're taking multiple gunshots and you're still going, and that's, you know, one of the reasons also the militaries around the world developed like larger CQC rounds, like a 50 cal Beowulf,
458 SOCOM.
458
Yeah,
SOCOM was developed
yeah.
specifically for that. So I mean, yeah, they're spongy. It's cool. They're gonna bring it down, but also, I mean, with the lore of the island and stuff, you know, who's to say they're not chewing a bunch of methamphetamine pain relievers? You know what I mean?
True.
It's like,
I mean, think about. I'm pretty sure some PFC operators will be, you know, injecting some stims in themselves and
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
morphine and stuff like that. I do also wish, and I know it's gonna be a while. I'm more into like the lore of the game. I'm glad the gameplay, you know, and the surrounding areas looks great, but seeing this makes me even more excited to like really start to explore the surrounding areas, especially those like those other points of interest that you just couldn't go and see because you were just enclosed in this playtest area. Like, I don't know if there's anything you can say that you saw maybe that was like, this looks interesting, you know, like just even if it's like your own thoughts or you know, predictions.
Oh man.
You get tell Rick to close his ears real quick.
Earmuffs, Rick.
Yeah, Rick, leave for a minute.
You want me to ban him?
No, okay. So really ultimately I'm just gonna tell you, like, my expectations with the game are the same thing I've laid out in my past few gray zone videos, right? And that's honestly the expectations that I have are the servers have to be fucking perfect. Like, they have to be perfect day one, or else, I mean, people are gonna start hitting that Steam review shit instantly, downvoting the game, saying that the servers are shit when probably they're not. Really, honestly, a good anti-cheat, good servers, optimize AI, optimize gameplay. You know, making sure that the 150 quests day one are there. As long as you have those, then everything else can take its time. I don't give a shit. I don't fucking care. I'm not in for a quick race with Gray Zone Warfare. I'm in it for the long haul. Now,
yeah,
100%. Yeah.
When you start getting to a point where you're kind of like Ground Branch, now this is no shot at Ground Branch. I love the game. I love the devs over at that studio. They're incredible people. But when you start getting into an area like Ground Branch, where you have your game essentially meditating in Steam's early access, and you're just like, all right, well, we're kind of working on one or two things here to kind of get those perfect. And then, like, you don't want the game to stay in early access forever because that paints a horrible image. for your game. But if you keep that shit in there for 5, 6, 7 years, and then you bring it out of early access and it is a fucking complete game coming out of early access, then you've done yourself a service. You've done yourself right. Who cares if the shit's in early access for 6 or 7 years? I can guarantee you right now, Buff, Crash, and Blue, you guys will not give a single shit if the game stays in early access for 6 or 7 years, as long as it fucking functions the way that it's supposed to, and that it's a good game that
and it's
you
making
enjoy
progress.
playing.
Yeah,
And it's making progress. We're not doing shit like Escape from Tarkov, where you have this fucking game in a closed alpha, closed beta, open. Who gives a shit? Those are just words at the end of the day. If you are having these same issues fucking day 2057 that you were having on day one, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're wasting time. You're wasting money. And you're, oh my God, I'm gonna get off on a fucking tangent.
I also think like to your point though, I mean, you don't want a World War III situation. That's exactly what you're describing.
No,
It's like World War III had all the potential in the world, and still, what is it? 6 years, 5, 6 years later, the game's dead, and they've never figured out the server issues. This right on the line. So a game they had so much potential ruined because bad servers day one.
Yeah. You know, the whole World War III situation, I feel like doesn't get talked about enough. It's always
Blue does
the day before. I know Blue does.
Oh God. And you know what? I think can I mention that too real quick? I'm pretty sure that's why they really put this out there as well too, to kind of combat a lot of the issues with the day before, and a lot of these other games that came out that just were shit on launch or not even real to begin with, and then some people think that they're taking it too much. I say that's perfect. What you did was perfect. Show raw gameplay, have a bunch of creators give their own opinion, like what Crash said, even give the videos that have a bunch of criticism their spotlight as well, their actual legit criticism, not their little jabs at the game itself, for little issues. But yeah, I just wanted to say that I think you guys, all of you guys pretty much hit the nail on the head of just like how well they're treating this development cycle.
And I had to give them love for that. I had to, because if none of us were gonna do that shit, oh my God, man! Like just imagine if they did the same shit to us that Fantastic did with all of the volunteer mods for the day before. Imagine what Madfinger did to us as the playtesters. Like what dipshit fucking company tried to false the cat fucker Sergey Titov. Yeah, if they did to us what Sergey Titov was trying to do with Fry, oh my
the
God,
copyright claim and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yes. No, like these guys have never given me a PR response, and that is something I can 100% respect. They have never given me a PR response. It's always been black and white, clear as day. Hey, we fucked up. We're working on this. Let's get it fixed for you. That goes a long way. I don't give a shit what anyone says.
They communicate really well, like normal, honest people, which is 100%. Refreshing. The thing I'm worried about, so we talked about the game, you hit the nail on the head. It has to launch and the foundation has to work so people can play it. And those are really, really important pillars. And then to keep us coming back or keep us along for the ride, we got to see progression. I really liked what they did on Steam, where they said, this is what we're going for early access. This is what we want at like 1.0 release. Setting the start and the finish line, setting the goalpost. Love that. But it has to happen. The other thing I am a little bit worried about is if people won't have the patience for it and are going to compare this to the amount of Tarkov content day one. And I think that's going to happen no matter what. I think they need to be prepared for it and just keep plugging along and get it to where it needs 100%. To go. Because
I also,
like you said, they could piss 5 people off, but make 5,000 people happy, like you said.
And lately people are like, well, Tarkov has this, Tarkov has this. I'm like, well, if you want to compare it to Tarkov, compare it to Tarkov, but compare this to pre-alpha Tarkov, because this is a pre-alpha. So compare this pre-alpha game to Tarkov as a pre-alpha game, and I think it tells a little bit different story. So I hope people can put into
100%.
Put dev time
that's it.
Into their brains just a little bit.
That's it, man. I mean, you nailed it. I literally couldn't have said it better myself. You nailed that shit. Like, I mean, if people are going to compare this to Tarkov, sure, do it. go ahead. I mean, it's monotonous and it's tiring, but go ahead. But,
But
you
apples to apples
you
it.
better compare. You better compare pre-alpha Tarkov to pre-alpha GZW, and then wait for this shit to release before Tarkov ever fully releases, because we know
It's on
that
beta.
shit's never
Yeah.
happening. Wait, just wait until this shit hits our early access, then you can compare EA GZW to beta Tarkov, and then just like, you got to compare apples to apples, like you said, Crash. You got to, because I've already started seeing people saying, you know what? Funny story, actually. There was a guy when I covered like the ballistic system for GZW. What was it? 3 weeks ago now. I had this fucking guy telling me, we don't need this overcomplicated ballistic system. We just want a game that's realistic. And it's like, okay, but how are you going to get one without the other? How are you going to get one without the other? And the same fucking guy commented on my gameplay video, and he says, I'm becoming a fan of this project.
Okay.
It's
all right.
And he said the same shit every single time I would ask him about it. Oh, well, Tarkov does this, Tarkov does that. Who gives a shit about Tarkov? Who fucking cares? This game, you can compare it, but it's its own thing at the end of the day. No matter how many times people try to, you know, twist it and be like, no, it's a different thing. I would think it's totally different.
It looks totally different. Just watching like your gameplay and others, it felt to me like a completely different game, which it is. But it's also people need to keep in mind, like, competition. You know, eventually it's an alternative for one, but also competition like breeds, you know, success all around the board. So if this game, when it does come out in early access and as it progresses over the next couple of years, you're gonna have, you know, a great game that is Gray Zone Warfare. You're gonna have a great game that is Escape from Tarkov. Two very different games. You're gonna have other games out there in the extraction market, like we have like Delta Force coming out, some other stuff that are just alternatives. Because I mean, everyone always comments when you talk about Tarkov, like, is it available on consoles? Or I wish there was another game like Tarkov that did this, this, and this. Well, here you go. This is that alternate option for a lot of people, and it looks different, it plays different. So I agree, definitely you can't compare the two. And I think when people get their hands on it and see more gameplay, they'll accept it for something completely different.
You're right, 100%. And that was a very common theme that we had experienced. People were like, yeah, I was gonna hop into this fully expecting this to play like Tarkov. It doesn't play like Tarkov. Some people were saying it didn't play as good. Some people said it played even better. I'm one of those people who thinks that it played better, because this game scratches a Tarkov itch for me that Tarkov has never been able to scratch. And I'll leave it at that.
I got that too, just by watching your gameplay. And I heard it when you said that in the video, because like, yeah, I love Tarkov, but Tarkov has always been a game that's been more fun to watch than to play.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Watching your footage, I was just like, this game, exactly. You said that, and I completely agreed. I was like, this is more of what I want out of Tarkov, and it you know, so that's where you have other options out there to get what you need out of gaming. That's what a good game industry is, when you have multiple different options.
100%.
Guys,
now I know what that sound was, Crash. That was, hey, we got to move on to the next topic.
Yes,
so.
it is. It's exactly what it was. You read my mind, dude.
Sorry for my rambling, man. I'm so passionate about this game because of just really, honestly, the past 2 weeks have been some of like the absolute best that has came from the indie gaming scene, and it wasn't even on public display either. It was just behind the scenes. And it's beautiful to witness. But yeah, Battlefield Season 7, guys, what's up with that?
Everyone is so excited about it. And man, we can't get enough of this game.
Yeah.
The gift that keeps on giving. We love it.
It's great for content, but yeah,
I'll the asshole that keeps on shitting.
I'll leave it at that. I just feel like some people think like I like a super shill and fanboy for Madfinger games, but I'm just like super shill and fanboy for honesty and accountability.
Good games, yeah.
What it's about. And make a fun game and people will play it. So completely unrelated to good games. Battlefield 7, Season 7. There you go, right there on the screen. 2 new maps. So you can rapidly see on X or Twitter or whatever, the the people that are trying to get into the EA Creator Network talking about the 2 maps and stuff. It's actually pretty wild. So you guys can tell me what you think of this and if this is disingenuous or not, because I feel like there's just been, as we've talked about hundreds of times, beat to death, there's a massive lack of content with this game. And you can tell from the verbiage in the earnings calls to all this stuff, they're just basically doing the bare minimum to say that they're supporting this game while they make the next one. And I think they crossed a little bit of a line here. Not that anything's ever going to be done from it other than me bitch and complain about it. But the whole two maps thing seems really disingenuous to me at the very least. They said that there's going to be 2 maps when they teased it. So keep in mind, guys, they teased this before Christmas, where he said, before we go on break, they're like, hey, we need to play test the new maps. So everyone was excited. It's been like 6 months since there's been new content. Many people said, hey, it's fine. We're getting 2 new maps. Completely not true, in my opinion. You're getting 1 new map, and then you're getting the stadium, which was on one of the launch maps that they took away.
Hourglass.
Hourglass, and now they're bringing it back.
They're just giving you a part of the map back.
It's a rework.
Same thing with
like the other
Chile map, the Chile map. Yeah, it's literally just a different part of a map that was already there. Just same assets, same buildings, just layered differently. Not much work done and put into it.
So what do you guys? That the stadium from Hourglass, it's literally from a map that was at launch. That's not a new map, right? Like, am I going crazy? Do you guys think that's a new map?
No.
2 new maps.
What the fuck? No, they did one. They brought in 1 new map and then looked off their friend's homework and copied that shit bar for bar. Like, they didn't do 2 fucking maps. They did 1 map and then half-assed the other one. They just unlocked the rest of the map for us.
Yeah,
I mean, technically, it's just a rework. So they just took the stadium and like the little bit of surrounding area that was there when it was in Hourglass. They did again. It's one of the reworks maps. So I'm sure they did some changes to it, is what it looks like. But yeah, you can't say it's a new map. It's definitely a reworked map. Like they've had to go back through and do with every single map in the game because they were so bad at launch.
Yeah, and it really scares me too with, the rumors of Battlefield 2025 and, season 7, like, it's 6 months, no fucking content. The game is coming to a screeching halt from, the PR side. Brother, it scares the shit out of me that like EA and DICE are doing shit that like indies are expected to be doing because they don't have money or manpower. Like, they're acting like they don't have money and manpower.
USA Specialist made a really good video about how this is feeling like, we talked a little bit about on the podcast. This is feeling like the lead up to 2042.
Oh my God, it does.
Because of people leaving, of the suits and stuff saying everything's fine. The new Battlefield is shaping up great. And I was going to talk about this later. Buff wanted me to bring it up too. I was going to talk about this later in the What's on X segment, but while we're here, we can just talk about, we've been speculating about Marcus Leto's leaving at Ridgeline Studios. We can see that it wasn't good. It was more along the lines with what we were saying. He tweeted, not being saying much here since I don't have anything positive to say about EA, my recent departure, and how so many, including my team, are suffering due to the industry sweeping layoffs. So he's saying he doesn't really have anything to say about EA, so he's not saying it. So we had hoped it was like a mutual departure. All happy and like we're just going our separate ways, but it's not good. It's kind of what we thought, I think, of not good. Creative differences.
It's definitely bad. It's not good to hear. Not what we wanted to hear.
But what I was thinking that just seemed disingenuous to me about the season 7 is you've had like a half a year in between seasons and the delay. And they framed the delay as, we're giving you more time with season 6. And then, but there's 2 new maps coming. And then, guys, what's happening is they're launching the 1 map at the season launch, which I think is tomorrow or something. I don't even care anymore at this point because they've made, you know why. Then the map rework isn't coming for another 2 months.
Oh my God. Then what's the point?
Yeah, so they say it's going to have 2 new maps, And then it's like there's going to be one new gun and one new map after 6 months of waiting. And then down the line in like the mid-season thing or whatever is going to be the other map and the other gun and one of the jets, I think.
Yeah, so you get 2 new guns. You get the AK-5C and the Scorpion tomorrow with the map, the actual new map in Atacama Desert. Then you get the third weapon, which is the LMG with the new rework of Hourglass, however, whenever 2 months down the road. So.
Why, again, like, why even fucking bother? Why bother at that point? Why even announce you're doing a rework if it's not coming out for another 2 months after the new season drops?
Yeah,
and it's not like you can even enjoy the fucking game anymore because Portal's completely dead. Okay,
yeah, so
like there was, oh my god, there was no content in season 6. There was like virtually nothing.
There's one map. Yeah, there's a meat grinder map with no vehicles. And then it's like, so let's say, Crash, what would you have done? Well, the honest thing to do would have been said, we're delaying season 7. Here's the one new map. And then at the end of the trailer, played a teaser for the stadium thing. And it would have been like, hey, bonus content. We rework stadium and we're putting it back in the game. And people would have been like, oh, sick. Something we didn't expect, but you guys fixed another one of your mistakes. And like, sweet. Like, it was just so disingenuous to let people think there were going to be 2 maps. And so many of the diehard Battlefield community that stuck around was using the 2 maps to cope, right? Like, it's been 6 months, but we're going to get 2 new maps. And then just to get hit with that, it's just like, get hit with that shit sandwich. Like, this isn't what I ordered, you know? So, I don't know, man.
Hell no, bro.
It's rough. And then...
go ahead, finish up.
Yo, I was just going to say, it's rough and it doesn't feel like it's going to get any better, but I'm still hopeful, but it doesn't feel
not
like
at all.
Yeah, and then like I was just going to say, you know, week after week, we just talk so much shit about Battlefield here. And I just, especially me, I get really pissed off about it. But I just, it comes from a place of like love for this franchise. Like Battlefield is what I grew up on. Battlefield is what got me into gaming really like hardcore. You know, Bad Company 2, I was on a pro team making money. Like, I love Battlefield. Battlefield 3 was the best experience of my life in gaming. And to just have to sit idly by and watch them just make so many mistakes year after year after year after year, it's so frustrating. And I think, you know, with this new season, you know, I did a video and I was just like, you know, it looks good. Hopefully it's a step in the right direction, blah, blah, blah. And then I watched like some of the gameplay today because they had an early event today where some other creators got hands on and it clearly got like paid to stream it. And like, I just watched it. I just like, this doesn't even look like Battlefield. Like the game does not look like Battlefield. It doesn't feel like Battlefield. There's no reason I would want to go back and play this. And especially the weapons they're introducing, like the AK-5C and the Scorpion, those are just like terrible guns from previous games. So you're basically bringing in new guns that you didn't include in the Portal when you have a plethora of other modern day weapons out there to do. It's just watching them fail over and over and over, make every mistake possible is not a good sign for the next Battlefield title. And I'm pretty positive they're going to blow it hardcore, and that's going to be the end of the franchise. So that's kind of where I am with Battlefield. It's the most frustrating thing to watch. A game that was always superior in quality to Call of Duty. They didn't sell as much as Call of Duty, but in my mind, Battlefield was always the better game. And now to where they are, where whatever you know, the trailer and the game, it looks like Apex, Fortnite, Call of Duty. There's no Battlefield in anything that I'm seeing with the gameplay at all anymore. And I watched like Westy play a little bit today, and everyone's just like, oh, what operator, what specialist has the soft lamp so we can lock onto the helicopter? Like, no one even knows what's what anymore because they went through and did this stupid specialist shit. And it's like you had the perfect formula for Battlefield, and then you just decided like, hey, instead of like, let's put a new rubber on the tire because the tire works, right? The wheel's good. Let's put the rubber on that is Battlefield. They're like, let's make a 16-dimensional wheel.
Dodecahedron.
that you can move cities with, and you can control it with your mind. That's the goal for the next Battlefield game, and that's what we're gonna shoot for. Instead of just doing what works, let's do something so outlandishly stupid that it'll never work, and we just fail horrendously. That's where they're going.
And just to put the cherry on top of what you said, Buff, man, look at these trailers now, like the one we got for this. It's all about skins, right? It's like a commercial for the skins, like they're showing the soldier stuff. And then go back and then go back and watch a fucking Battlefield 1 trailer for their like the name of the Tsar and like the Apocalypse DLC. Like watching the Battlefield 1 DLC trailers will give you chills, man. Like
same with
that
the Battlefield
was
3,
Battlefield, dude.
When I want to reminisce, I go back and watch the Battlefield 3 DLC stuff, and I'm just like,
makes me sad when I watch those.
Yeah,
that's what
100%.
content used to be. That's what content used to be. We would get a shit ton of content back then, especially all the way up to Battlefield 1.
We didn't know, Blue. We didn't know
that, but it's okay because now we have just the best live service ever, according to EA, just crushing it. Every 6 to 8 months, you get a new map. A weapon or two. It's just they're knocking it out of the park with this live service.
I think the words you're looking for, I think the words you're searching for, Buffer, robust and engaging live service.
Yes, so robust and engaging. Yeah. I think what's her name, Laura, full of shit over there at EA. Yeah, lying fucking bitch who just
we should just call her
game, dude.
Let's just call her Lion Laura. There we go.
Lion Laura. Yep.
And if I
Lauren Fallopian, whatever the fuck her name.
Yeah, we should move on topics because I'm getting there, man. I'm getting to that point.
All right, let's do it.
You know,
all right.
I actually do want to ask a question, and all it conjugates is a yes or no answer. This goes for chat. This goes for you guys, and this also goes for the people who are listening in their cars right now, and probably texting and driving. Do you guys honestly think that? Do you guys honestly think that EA, whatever EA touches, it's just like a cancer. It grows and grows and fucking grows until it just completely encapsulates everything that it touches.
Yes.
Yeah, they do a really good job of killing great franchises for sure. Look at the Battlefield's on the way down for sure. Probably next year will be it for that Battlefield. Medal of Honor, Titanfall, like they've killed amazing franchises, especially with Medal of Honor. We talk about here on the channel, like Blue and I are on the same page because we played Warfighter. Like if Warfighter came out today with a little bit of quality of life improvements, you'd have Game of the Year. Like that would be a seller because that's what people want. People don't want this Call of Duty bullshit anymore. And that's like exactly when Battlefield 2042 came out. People wanted Battlefield because they were sick of Call of Duty, and they didn't do Battlefield. They did Call of Duty, and it just like. When we needed Battlefield the most, they decided, we're gonna go a completely opposite direction. Terrible. Yeah, agreed. EA sucks. And I think that's the reason to Marcus's tweet is like whatever it is that's going on there management wise, horrible. And I think that's evident with everything we've seen over the past, 4 to 5 years at this, if not longer.
So right along with EA just knocking it out of the park. Blue, what's up with the Star Wars Battlefront collection? A lot of people are excited for. What's going on over there, man?
Man, I remember when I first dropped that trailer. I was excited for those 64 player servers and great remastered maps, and we had none of that. There was literally one server at launch that got filled up day one, so no one could, enter the game. Nice. On top of that, the servers, the network optimization when you did get into a game was completely flawed. The maps were, so what they tried to do as well too, they tried to use AI to basically retexture every aspect of it, the player models, the maps, the buildings, everything. You didn't really work out. You started seeing a bunch of like purple, black, blue, green squares all over the floors. Things were working on top of that. And then they finally decided to bring up some more servers. Thank you, Aspire or Asper, whatever they are, Asper Media. I like saying Asper because I think it makes it better. But they decided to go ahead and give us the benefit of the doubt and give us some more servers. But the biggest thing as well, too, before that was when people first saw the trailer, and I noticed it too. There was a couple of models and features in there that they brought in that was supposed to be, you know, that was originally a mod. And one of them specifically was Kit Fisto, who's one of the heroes for the Republic. And turns out they didn't even bother to change up the files or make their own version of Kit Fisto. They literally took a mod that someone else did, put it into the game, and sold it for you for $35 on Steam.
Yeah, with no credit.
So
no credit.
No credit whatsoever.
Whoa. That shit was $35.
Yeah.
30. Let me double check on Steam. Yep, $35.01. Currently sitting at overwhelmingly negative reviews, which is, you know, needed. 19% of the reviews are positive right now on Steam. Of course, this released on all the consoles: Switch, Xbox, next gen, PS5. You know, it released on all those consoles, and people were just able to just go in and check the game files and realize that it was the same exact animations, same exact player model. Everything about it was exactly the same from the mod that you could go pay right now, or not even pay. You can go get the original versions of the game, because they still had the classic collection, which is supposed to be the remastered version, because Asper Media also did a remaster of the classic Tomb Raider games, Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3, which they look whatever. They're not that great either, in my opinion, but they didn't have multiplayer, so no one really cared. No one really talked about it. This one was a big, you know, EA, you know, supported franchise, you know, now, because with the new Battlefront 2, and of course that development got stopped as well too. So it's just not a good time to be a Battlefront fan as well too, let alone anything Battlefield, anything Star Wars related, really.
Yeah, man. So yeah, this is the tweet on screen right now that the dude's like, we data mined the game and they literally took my mod and copy pasted it into the game with no credit or anything.
And this was, and the craziest part, and I was trying to find it, but I think it's scrubbed. Someone, I saw a video about it, but they went out and said themselves, Asper Media, the publisher, went out and said themselves, we basically used it for the trailer, you know, the mods themselves, but we're going to be, you know, doing it ourselves, you know, putting in our own files. And it completely just didn't do anything about that. So they said that they were, you know, they weren't going to use it, and then they ended up using it anyways, regardless.
Well, they didn't even rename the files, is the funny part.
Yeah, they didn't even. it's just, even for a 20-plus-year-old game that was perfect back, it wasn't perfect. There were definitely some glitches and some, you know, bugs, but I mean, for back then, it was great. It was amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, they couldn't even get this right for the time. Yeah, they couldn't even get this right.
That's crazy.
You know, and you literally had it in front of you on a silver platter. Here you go. Just put multiplayer into it. You probably didn't even have to upscale or remaster anything. You probably could have just given multiplayer support again and been fine with it.
Yeah. These guys could fuck up an anvil in a sand pile, man. Like, my dad always said that. I'm sorry, I don't know. But I mean, how do you mess that up? Like,
yeah.
I know how. You're just fucking stupid. Just be dumb.
Yeah.
Like, starve yourself of oxygen for 15 fucking minutes. That's how you do it.
The file size for this, for two games from the, you know, early 2000s, is around 70 plus gigabytes. I think 73 from what I saw last time online. So 73 gigabytes this thing takes. From, I literally have both of the original Battlefront games in my library right now, 2004, 2005. The 2004 one is only 2.8 gigabytes, and the 2005 one is 9.59. How do you combine that and make up 73 gigabytes?
Jeez.
You guys want to know how big Gray Zone was when I downloaded it?
What?
30 gigs.
They got nothing on Battlefront Classic Collection.
Just the fidelity. The absolute fidelity.
I guess Gray Zone's a shit game, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's not 75 gigs. It's a shit game. Fucking.
Jeez, man.
It's so wild. It's so wild because, like, I feel like, I mean, Blue, you and I are like definitely huge Star Wars nerds, 100%, and played this back in the day too. I don't know about Redbeard, but like, people have been asking for this remastered for years now. And it's like
That's all we wanted. We didn't want EA to touch
they didn't want new
Battlefront back in the
ones,
day.
and they're just like,
Yeah.
you know what, we should like clearly no one's gonna want to play this, so we just won't have servers, even though like the internet's been asking for this forever. Like no servers seems like the way to go here when we launch
You know,
this.
and just to be a Star Wars fan, everything from the Mandalorian FPS that I wasn't even really excited for, but then for them to, and they didn't
Just
even like
cancel
officially
it.
announce it before they get
Yeah.
canceled. Yeah, like it was just like, you know, before they even said anything, they already
Yeah,
got
they're-
shut down. So
EA's crushing it. Publisher of the year right there for sure.
Oh yeah.
every franchise they take, they touch. So man, that's pretty much what's going on with the Battlefront collection, and I don't think we'll see. It's gonna be one of those games where it might get better in a year or two, but at that point, who cares? Like you have the same player
That's a
count,
shame.
probably even less now than the current Battlefront 2 game that EA posted. That they made, but even that's like maybe like 2,000 players on the latest Battlefront 2. Which has
servers.
But
at
then
launch,
Steam was
like-
giving refunds though. Steam was giving refunds though, which was nice even after the 2-hour playtest, I believe. Don't get me, I might be wrong about that, but apparently some people mentioned that I was still able to get a refund even after the 2-hour window because of just how bad it was.
I was kind of unaware how much of a shit on EA episode this was going to be, but moving right along to what's on X. Did you guys see this shit? Did you guys see this shit where an Apex Legends Pro League tournament was hacked? So
I saw that
what happened?
you say because oh my god, I started watching these videos. I was like, are you kidding
dude,
me?
So at the same time in an Apex Pro League, the ALC, I think it's ALC Apex League Championship Series. I think it is ALCS. Sounds like the
In a
MLB
regional
tournament,
finals,
something like that. But anyway, in a Pro League tournament, two pros at the same time were hacked and cheats were put on their machine. So they ended up like just walls clicked on. So for Jin Burton, this player got hacked mid game in the NA regional finals as we get every cheat known to man. And then on another one, there was another player. This guy just like loses his shit and disconnects from the match. And you start to say, well, all right, maybe this dude was cheating. I don't think so because he's kicked ass on lands and stuff where I looked into like all this stuff where it's impossible to cheat. And they also, it happened to other players at the same time. So it's unlikely that all these people just started cheating
it was
at
like
once.
multiple. Yeah.
And then other players, they said they shut the whole thing down. So they've postponed the series. And they've also said they also had the pros scan their PCs. And a bunch of other pros found malicious shit on their machines from playing in a private lobby in Apex Legends. So we've seen Apex Legends get hacked before. It might have been a year or two ago, but they got hacked to where people could change the playlist titles and could change like text in the game and stuff. The game's been hacked before, but yeah, the Apex Legends Esport X account says the decision to stop and postpone the event, which was running, has been taken due to competitive integrity of the series being compromised. And then Imperial Hal was the other one. He said he got aimbot all of a sudden and just quit shooting. Like he was walking around trying to help his teammate. He's like, dude, we got to stop. I have aimbot. Like I can't shoot this. Like something's fucked up. And then the anti-cheat police department on X, they're like an anti-cheat Twitter account that calls out cheats and stuff. They have identified the hack as a remote code execution exploit that's targeting a vulnerability either in the networking code of Apex Legends itself or the popular third party Apex uses Easy Anti-Cheat. The Easy Anti-Cheat people came out and said they did a full investigation. It wasn't on their end, but so they're saying in Apex Legends, somebody is able to connect to your machine and run a remote code. So basically think of it like when you guys like have to open up a run, like a command prompt and type in a code to do something like scan your machine or repair something. Basically people are able to run code on your machine remotely through Apex Legends.
Whoa.
So with the capability to remotely install cheats on players' machines, they could do much worse. This is according to the anti-cheat police department on X. Experts in the subject, they say they have the capabilities to do whatever, like installing ransomware software, locking up your entire PC. They said they advise players to protect their personal information, change passwords, perform a fresh operating system restart. Yeah.
Whoa.
So the Easy Anti-Cheat guy, I can't remember what his name is. He went ahead and tweeted and said they're very confident that it wasn't on their end. So
Yeah, so
there's
further
been really no
investigation,
comment.
right?
There's been no comment from Lion
No
Lori,
comment.
Laura anyway. Lion Laura, baby.
Of course,
that's-
EA, the king of no comment.
So yeah, dude, crazy. So I would maybe
What? That
advise
is
not
insane.
playing Apex right now. So that
Yeah, no, if you got Apex on your shit, just uninstall it. Like, even if it wasn't for this, just uninstall Apex. It's 2024. Go play a new fucking game. Come on now.
But yeah, I mean, you're probably you're probably
Apex?
fine because I'm assuming you have to be targeted, so they're going to target like high profile users and stuff. But I've just never heard of that or seen it. I guess some people have said something crazy several years back happened in
is
CS:GO like
insane.
this. But to be able to like like you're watching pro players and then all of a sudden they have hacks turned on, it's like that would have been wild to catch that live and see, like, because you'd instantly think they're hacking.
Like,
man.
and they're like, you know, mid, you know, in a mid of a firefight, and all of a sudden you see, you know, people through walls and their hit boxes and stuff like that, and you know, and even when the guy had his, you know, hands up, you saw the, you know, the player was still moving, so maybe there is, you know, I don't know what was going on behind that, but still, it's, oh man.
That is insane, dude.
Dude,
Like,
that's got to be
and-
that's got to be terrifying for the player, because he's gonna say dude, he's got to be terrified. That's
Yeah.
The internet
that's his
will come
livelihood,
after him,
man.
for
And
sure.
People,
Yeah,
and he's thinking
it,
people are gonna call him out for cheating. His career's done. His livelihood, everything is
I hope
gone.
this, because of how many people were hacked at the same time and articles are coming out about it. I really hope that's not the case for these pro players.
Yeah, he'll
Hope
be
they,
fine because they
especially-
figured it
yeah,
out.
I think. Yeah, but
okay, good.
you know,
I was gonna say,
we'll
I don't
see.
want his livelihood being ruined because some fucking, you know, oh, I wish I could, you know, yeah, fuck it. Some cuck on the internet, you know, doesn't like seeing somebody win, so he's got to try to ruin somebody's life, you
Yeah.
know. Oh,
Trash
God
humans,
damn,
man.
bro.
Trash human.
Trash fucking behavior.
Yep.
Agreed.
Yeah,
100%
motherfuckers
agree.
Bash
with a
on the EA
bamboo stick.
episode, yeah.
Yeah, especially on the EA episode. That's wild.
I guess so. I guess so.
That's
So
wild.
let's see. The one
EA's
of the
just
things
lining them up for us tonight, man.
I guess they are.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
just giving us content.
we'll switch gears. We'll switch gears. Blue shouted this out to me before. I totally missed it. There's a new studio, Empty Vessel. I hadn't seen really any of this until Blue pointed it out to me just a little bit ago, but this is on X, so you might want to check it out. Empty Vessel Play is the X handle, and it's a brand new studio they just released right after last week's show, of course, when everyone releases stuff.
Yep.
They released a teaser for their upcoming shooter game. So their brand new studio focused on immersive shooter experiences. In due time will reveal the system. Until then, join us at emptyvessel.io. And it's another one of those kind of super studios from a bunch of former developers from what'd you say, Blue, like Activision?
So according to this, it was veteran AAA studio veterans from ID Software, Naughty Dog, and Activision.
Yeah. So some heavy hitters from some good studios coming together to make.
Have they announced what
shooter.
their debut project is yet?
No,
the system,
it's very,
right?
The system is, it's still very secretive. We do know it's supposed to be an immersive shooter of some kind. But according to the website, Empty Vessel is at the vanguard of building games that feel great to play. We are passionate creators who share a vision of disrupting the expected ways and developing our own, and that empower our visionary team. So they're like saying all the right things, you know, that they're a bunch of, you know, what was it? I think they said something along the sides of like they're not rejects, but you know, they make games that, I guess, because of their fuel for, you know, making an actual game proper. So it's a bunch of defects is what they're called. Is what they call themselves. So yeah,
that is awesome.
All we know is that they're a bunch of industry veterans who specialize in the immersive shooter space. But other than that, there's really not much about it. It has some kind of like futuristic vibe to it, almost cyberpunk-ish with, I don't know, meets it kind of looks like the trailers that Dr. Disrespect had for his game
It does have that
is
feeling,
never gonna get developed.
Dead Drop.
I don't know, maybe Dead Drop. Thank you.
It's dead game, more like it.
Dead on arrival. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm just saying. I haven't seen shit about it too much.
So when I look at this, right? When I look at the trailer loop, I get a few different vibes off of this, right? So I get like Bungie Marathon vibes, I get the finals vibes, I get some Cyberpunk 2077 vibes. So I mean, if I feel like they're gonna just announce an extraction shooter as their debut project, I swear to God, if it's not an extraction shooter, I'm gonna shit my pants in excitement.
Shit.
Well,
It just screams extraction
according
shooter. Oh
to
yeah, shit.
Variety, funny enough, Variety even covered these guys. Variety magazine. They said that their studio is focusing on developing AAA video games inspired by film, graphic novels, and games set in dystopian sci-fi worlds. And on top of this,
Ooh.
it's powered by Unreal Engine 5. So it is
Okay.
looking to get into that as well too. So, but
So,
it's
alright,
it's they
20
say it's
frames it
developer
is.
founded, yeah, seriously. They say it's developer founded, developer first studio. So they're trying to go against the grain, it seems like. So
nice.
I mean, that's kind of what we've
Another
been
game.
seeing. That's what we've been seeing though, of all these, Embark Studios and hell, even Madfinger showing off some good shit, lately. But like a bunch of these indie studios kind of going back to the root of what makes a good game. So again,
Yeah.
we'll see what happens, what they come out with. Not much right now. So
I
we'll see.
I think that 2024 and 2025 are going to be the year of the indie dev. Honestly, it's just
Definitely.
like indie studios are about to just take over and clean fucking house, and I am here for it. As long as the games are good, I should make that very clear. As long as the games are good, you get a couple. You know what? You get a couple Madfinger game studios around in the indie space and making like really good shit.
You can
Yeah,
get
nah,
a
bro.
couple $1 billion ideas for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, this is awesome. I want to see what these guys do. It sounds really nice, actually. So yeah, good shit. Empty Vessel. Go check them out.
Yeah. Okay. Two last quick things. I don't know if they're quick shots. I don't know if they're on X. I'm losing the handle on this show. I guess I'll do this.
Quick shot. There we go.
We just had to do it
Ready.
at least once. I thought this was a really cool clip from everybody's favorite journalist, Jake Lucky. He was actually had an interview with Joshua Mills, the game director for Rainbow Six Siege, about cheaters. And I will have noticed that cheaters so far have been pretty good the situation has been pretty good in Rainbow Six Siege lately. And I have noticed the last few nights I've streamed it, the cheat feed when people get banned has been constant. Like the whole time I'm playing it, people are getting banned. And this guy said that so this is the first season with AI, the machine learning stat bans and stuff. And when they announced QB in this, he said a lot of cheat developers went out of business. And he said, we're going to make you bleed. He said, we're going to make you bleed resources, and we're going to make your life a living hell with their machine learning anti-cheat.
Oh shit!
So they're gonna. So and what he means by that is the cheat developers are going to have to constantly, in that cat and mouse game, they're going to have to redo their cheats way more often and all the time. So I thought that was really cool. And then along those lines, with Rainbow Six Siege, they did hit on year 9. A couple days ago, it hit its all-time peak of over 200,000 players on Steam.
Love to see it, man.
That's not counting you play Connect. So I played on Ubi Connect. So I don't even play it on Steam. And then console, of course.
I re-downloaded it on my PlayStation, so
especially in the era of Jinxie, love it or hate him. He's breathed a lot of life into this game. And then as well as one thing I did see from I think Varsity Gaming, there are some instances where if you close the game on Steam, it doesn't actually close the game and it keeps running. So that could inflate these numbers if people have the game running and don't realize it. Maybe. So
oh wow,
take that with a grain of salt. But nonetheless, Siege is alive and healthy, and I'm gonna start getting put on the records that I think, I could be totally wrong, but I think there's gonna be a big engine update for Rainbow Six in year 10.
And I hope so. I hope it does happen. Like genuinely, I think this is one of the instances where Ubisoft has a rare W. Like genuinely, They've been losing a lot recently, so this is a massive W for them.
It's cool. They really did bring the game back to its roots. I didn't realize how far it had drifted into the TDM meta until I've been playing more over the last few days. Like, it is back to old Siege, where it's like you got to use your brain. You need to be in a good position because you can't just sprint down the hall in ADS real quick and tap heads like you could last season. The guns are way slower, so it's more about positioning, crosshair placement, and discipline. And then as well, Shroud's been playing grinding Rainbow Six too, and he has a huge community. So yeah, this is the best start to a season of Siege that I've seen in a long time. And then I guess the last thing.
What else we got? Last quick chat.
The last thing is, if you are interested in any games right now, Steam is running a massive sale. First person shooter wise, Rainbow Six Siege is $3.99. DayZ, Overwatch 2, Hunt Showdown is $13.99. It's 65% off. All the Battlefields, Marauders, Arma, all seeing really big sales. Call of Duty's even on sale. Back 4 Blood, Far Cry, the old Fallouts. I'm excited
for Call of Duty.
I'm excited for the new Fallout show on Amazon Prime. You guys see the trailer for that?
Same. I'm actually really excited. I think it's gonna be. I hope. I should say. I hope. I'm hoping it's gonna be done a lot better than Halo, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's. Yeah, I'm excited for it. It was the people that made. I'm trying to think of the people that made the show before Fallout. What they're famous for. The creators. I gotta look it up. See, look, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore.
Yeah, I can't remember.
So Rust, also, Ready or Not. I know a lot of people in the show like Ready or Not. It's also 33% off. So yeah, if you're checking out new games, definitely check that out. American Truck Simulator is $4.99 for the base game. Absolute steal for game of the year.
Boom.
I love it. But yeah,
and all of their DLCs are marked down anywhere from 10 to 50% off, or 66. Sorry, that's the highest discounted one.
Add some states to go shit your pants in.
Bro, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm adding a bunch of these
Westworld. Thank you
to my card.
That's what it was. Man,
people
that made Westworld.
Nice. Yeah, great show.
Dude, I did fill out the rest of the states for American Truck Simulator. I have them all now.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. Oh, I can go trucking across Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, baby. Woo.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Want to watch?
I'm picking up a few of these DLC later.
My OBS just disconnected, dude. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah. We can hear you.
It says reconnect.
No one needs OBS.
Wild.
OBS is overrated.
Sometimes. I guess, is that probably a show? Is that my OBS saying you guys need to stop rambling?
Yeah, I'm done. He's like, I'm done. Stop it.
He's at it. OBS is on strike right now.
Fucking assholes.
I paid nothing for you. Why can't you just work?
Bro, that's what I'm saying.
Dang it, man. So yeah, as long as you guys are cool with it, I think that's a show, huh?
I think so too.
Great show.
Great show.
A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff in there.
Packed, just
Redbeard.
like last week. Very good.
Thanks for joining. Oh yeah, Matt says the hackers are entering my OBS.
No, dude, thank you. No, genuinely, like, thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate you letting me get here and talk about my experiences with Gray Zone, and hopefully I got people in your chat kind of hyped and kind of understand why I stand for Madfinger and Gray Zone so much. It's just like I said, they're one of the best indie companies out right now. So I mean, if you ever wanted to find a game to support and put your attention to, that's going to be one of those games for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep, I think so. Cool. They're doing a good job, and we're rooting for them. But anyway, guys, Buff, Blue, Redbeard, thank you guys so much. If you guys are listening and downloading, we appreciate that so much. Don't forget to be a friend, tell a friend, share it around. We love you all, and we can't wait to see you guys next week. Until then, be safe, be kind. We'll catch you then.
Peace.